I need you to come to Mexico, shoot this video for me. I'm like,
Damn.
what? I looked out the window. Dude, there's like 3 officers with huge rifles walking down the sidewalk, just looking around. Like, you're KV? I was like, yeah. I was like, but it's like, it's weird because I'm not used to that.
Welcome everybody back with another episode of Direct Discussions. Today we have our good friend
KV.
Yo.
He's going to be our very first guest on Direct Discussions, so we have a really good intro for everything going on. Go ahead, Raj.
Alrighty. Now, so how you feeling, man? How you feeling?
Man, I'm honored, bro. I didn't know I was the first one.
Yeah, the first one, bro.
No, man, we're glad to have you on the show. I've seen your Instagram and I've seen you do a... Bro, I'm not talking to my mic, not even over here. Okay.
That's funny.
There we go. No, but... I've seen your Instagram since David told me. I've seen you've been working with a lot of good people on there. Yeah. Locals, big talent, all that.
Everybody, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to see that. But let's go ahead and get into it, man. I just want to... How'd you get into it, man?
Man, that's an interesting question. I guess I've just always been, like, into music and stuff like that. So, kind of started off, like, producing and just making beats, working with local talent and just friends that I made, through internet and stuff. Because I kind of started when, like, the whole internet thing was, like, like, Facebook was popping and stuff like that. And so I was just connecting with people, like, yo, use my beats, this and that. Yeah. And then I remember still one time, there's this artist that I worked with, my boy Jelly Bean.
Jelly Bean.
I was producing a lot of his stuff.
I know Jelly Bean.
And one day he's like, I need a music video. And I was like, well, I just got this camera, so let's try it out.
Well, how long? What year was that? That had to be like early.
That was early.
2000s.
That was literally, I think it was like 2013, 2014.
Yeah, I knew it had to be around that time. Because I was, do you know Terrell or Token?
Yeah.
Token. Yeah, Token. That was his other name. But yeah, they used to work together all the time. So I know they were using you a lot for their videos and everything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, so did you start in middle school, like doing pictures, or did that not develop into like high school? When did you really like start? You got your start in middle school making beats, and then you like transformed into doing the other stuff, or when did that all start?
Honestly, I think it was more like in high school.
So like freshman year or so?
No, not even. I think
sophomore?
I think like when I was like sophomore, junior year, it just kind of like popped off. Like I've always had a thing for music, but it's just that's when I really took interest, and I was like, yo, like how do people make this happen?
Okay. That's dope. So you would say 5 years ago, did you picture yourself doing what you're doing right now?
Man, not at all. Not at this level. At least, you know what I mean? Like, I picked up the camera not expecting to do this much. I guess, you know what I mean? Like, it was just kind of like, yo, I think it'd be dope to help the homies out. And then it turned into, yo, like now everybody's like hitting me up. They want videos, they want this, they want that. It's been crazy.
Yeah, I bet.
So let me ask you this. What kind of stuff did you have to do to get to where you're at now?
Man, honestly, it's what I've learned is that it's like a lot of networking, a lot of like who you know, and word of mouth and stuff like that. Definitely, like the skills come in, but I feel like in this industry, it's more like about who you know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like they say, like your network is your net worth.
Yeah. So. No, I definitely can agree. But I was gearing more towards like skill set wise, because I mean, let's be honest, like we've barely started making a podcast about a month ago. I mean, we've shot videos, practiced, got lighting set up, so I got a little skin in the game. But as far as technical knowledge goes, how long did you feel comfortable to get into the position where you were at with the knowledge you had when you first started out?
So, man, honestly, it was more like a practice thing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't get this good overnight. It was more like I said, practice. Definitely learning from peers and people like that I met. When I started, just looking up to certain people and watching their work or going on set with them and just being around. You know what I mean? I take in a lot of that stuff visually, and even asking questions or just YouTube. You know, now you got the internet. There's like a million tutorials on there. There's so much game on there, like people aren't aware of. And sometimes people come to me, they're like, "How'd you do this?" And I'm like, "Go look at this link." That's exactly how I learned. It's nothing crazy, you know. Like there's so much information online now, like. It's so easy to just you see something in a video and you're like, I don't know how they did that, and you just start typing in keywords of what it is, and then boom, somebody somewhere knows how they did it. You know.
So you would say like your biggest influence of learning is trial and error.
Exactly.
Like you're doing it yourself, and then that didn't work too good. I'm gonna just try it this way.
And even to this day, I still do that. You know, like there's certain things that I'll see, and I pitch the idea to the artist or the brand that I'm working with, and they're like, cool, let's try it. And I tried it, and I'm like, I don't think that's how it's done. Let me do some research real quick. And you see me sitting there on set, like trying to look it up. And, eventually I'll get it down. But it's definitely like trial and error all the time. You know what I mean?
I wanted to touch base back into, because I was going through my files, and I had found the photo shoot you did for me in 2015.
Right.
So in 2015, can you remember of like how deep were you into your career at that point? In 2015, whenever you were coming on, I think that when in 2015, that was the first one you did for me when we were doing the Taboo one. That was like my very first drop and everything. Do you remember how long you were into doing it by that time in like 2015?
Yeah, I think like taking it seriously. I think I actually started around that time.
Like 2014,
2015, somewhere around that little space.
So like a year or so after you graduated, because I remember you graduated 13, right? 2013. So maybe like a year after that, you were just like, I'm gonna go full throttle with this, and I'm gonna just
exactly.
really push.
It's just like I said, like I did that first music video for Jelly Bean, and then like I don't know where people were like, oh, you do mine next, and then I got to a point where I was like, I'm going to start charging y'all, but I think that's how it started though, you know what I mean, and that's when the progress, the process of me learning, how to actually do this and how to film stuff, you know what I mean.
So from 2015 till I don't know which year it was, from that point forward, when did you get, in your eyes, your first big artist or big break?
If I'm being honest, it's probably like maybe like a year or two into the whole, taking it serious and stuff. Mm-hmm. I met somebody, my homegirl Sydney. She's like a creative director, and she ended up working with Megan Thee Stallion right before she got signed.
Okay.
So she was like, let's go ahead and try to do some. I got these projects, and I want to do with Megan, and I know you can shoot it right. So boom, you know what I mean? I started working with Megan Thee Stallion. It started off as like a creative project, and then it kind of went into, now you can do my music videos. So we did like 2 or 3 music videos for her. And then the last one was the one that where she did with Moneybagg Yo. It was like the first time they actually collabed, the first time they met and everything.
Yeah. That was pretty lit. So then you said that was in like 2017 or so, 2018, 16?
It might have been 17.
That had to be pretty early, because
somewhere around there. I know it's whenever she started popping, so it was like around there.
Okay, so then who was the next big one after that, and how much longer did it take from when you did that one with her to like the next one, or was it just like lined up after that? They just started
honestly, I mean, the projects were already coming before that. Oh, okay. So I think when I remember when I posted that, like my DMs just like boom, like crazy. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, like who's this guy? You know what I mean? Like that was like my first punch into like the whole scene.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The whole scene.
Yeah, so
I want to ask too, when did you start? I don't know all the details behind it, but if I'm correct, you worked with them a little bit. But like, how was your relationship with like Prophecy?
Prophecy, oh man, that's my boy. Basically, I would say like, he saw me doing my thing. Like he's one of the people that I was talking about when I started looked up to certain people when I started. Because he was just taking over the game. You know what I mean?
I remember at that time.
He still is, but back then it's like he just had like this wave, and like I started looking at his work, and I remember I think I friended him on Facebook, and I remember one time I posted this clip. It was like I was trying to do something really cinematic, and he messaged me with that clip. He's like, "I see what you're trying to do, but let me give you a hand." You know what I mean? And we ended up setting up a meeting, and I still remember he invited me over to his spot. He showed me how to edit, how he does things, just looking at things a different way. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, that was like my step up. Just take it from there. I kind of ran with him, I've been locked in with him since.
That to me would be like the big break in my mind for you, because now you're taking your editing skills to a whole nother level by almost like a mentor helping you. Hey, let me put you under my wing, show you this, show you that, and then you just like, oh, appreciate it. You just keep on going and keep on going, like you said, because now he was already getting those other videos going and already had his wave going. Now you kind of not catch it, but you like start your own wave, your own way doing it. Because I remember you were, I think I don't know all the numbers back to the dates when you were doing everything, but I remember you had did the Mo 3 one. And I was like, yo, how did he get Mo 3? How did he get that accessibility to do Mo 3's video with Kevin Gates? I was like, yo, this dude's going, though. He keeps going and just keeps leveling up. So how did that whole thing with doing the Mo thing and the Kevin Gates all come together?
So that was actually Prophecy's project. I just came in. I came in to do like the behind the scenes and stuff like that. You know, he had asked me for advice, like, yo, what do you think about doing this for this project? Like, you know, we kind of feed off of each other sometimes. Cool, like he'll call me, you know, and be like, what do you think about this idea for this, or I got this project coming up. What are you thinking? You know, so like I still remember we had this. Oh, he had this crazy idea we talked about on the phone. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the day of the shoot comes, and I'm like, yo, what happened to everything like you were telling me we were gonna do? And then he's like, nah, it's gonna be really simple. But you know, that was a crazy day. There was just so many people walking around. You know, Kevin showed up on set. It was like good energy. You know, it was good being around them, and that's what I mean. Like, even to, you know, recently, like I still go to sets and try to learn and try to meet network people, you know what I mean? Because for that set, he had like a whole crew, you know what I mean? Like, so it was a big learning experience, you know what I mean?
That sounds real dope. I mean, I know whenever I seen you do that, I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, KV made it. Yeah. Like in my mind, that's just me though. I know for you, you're like, I'm barely scratching the surface because I know I can go to a whole nother level of being able to direct and edit and do everything for all these other people. But like, I know you would see yourself eventually getting to that point where Prophecy's at, where they're calling you saying, hey, come do my video for me instead of you just doing the behind the scenes. So how many of those videos do you go and record behind the scenes of? Because I seen you post a lot of like,
honestly, it's stuff. Very rare, bro. Like I did the behind the scenes just because Prophecy's my boy and stuff. You know what I mean? He's like, yo, come catch it because I need something dope. You know what I mean? And I rarely do behind the scenes now, bro, because it's just I feel like now I'm like at another level. You know what I mean? Like now I have people that I need people to come to do my behind the scenes. You know what I mean? So now it's to that point. But I just took it. I took it just because I knew. You know what I mean? Like I said, it was a big opportunity too. You know, it was a good look. Like I said, me and him were always like bouncing off of ideas and energy, and always trying to put each other on projects and stuff. So. I just kind of took it as that, like as an opportunity, you know what I mean? I'll give him a good look. I know and it did, you know, it brought him bigger projects and stuff like that. So, you know, and to this day, he still, you know, call me for help or for BTS or things like that. You know what I mean? I just do it just because, you know, I feel like it's like paying him back for what he put me on to. You know what I mean? Like the knowledge, because without that knowledge, I feel like I probably wouldn't have taken the step to keep learning. Because I would have probably just been like, man, I can't get this down. I would just try something else. You know what I mean?
Hey, so when did you basically make this a business, a legitimate business?
Honestly, like when I started taking it seriously, it was probably like how I told you, like probably like around 2017, I believe, because I quit my job. You know, I was actually working like a 9 to 5.
Dang, so that's when you went all in.
Yeah, I was working at a 9 to 5, and I remember something happened. It was like an issue that I had there, and I was like, you know what, I'm done. Like, I'm gonna go jump on this because at that point I was already like using my sick time and my days off to go film gigs and stuff like that. I still remember one time I put in it was like, I think it was like a 4-day request off, and they're all looking at me weird because I never took days off. You know, I was always at work, you know what I mean? Like, I was always real dedicated. And I remember my boy Prophecy, he was like, we did this Caribbean festival in Houston. He's like, it's Labor Day weekend. It's like a whole week. It's like a whole week of events, and I need a second filmer. And I'm like, I think I got some sick time. Let me just use it all. And ever since then, I just kind of like, I was already using the hella days to go shoot this or go do this and go do that. And I was like, you know what? Like, I think that situation that happened at my job, it was like that sign that you get that you're like, yo, you're not meant to be you're meant to be something else. And I just kind of took it and ran with it, you know?
Yeah, before I let Roger go, I want to commend you on being able to recognize that the work you're putting in is worth more than just you trying to help build somebody else's career, somebody else's dream. You said, no, I'm going to screw that. I'm going to build my own dream, and I'm going to work for the things that I want to work for. If I'm going to work this hard, I'm going to work this hard for myself, putting all the hours in, doing everything. So I commend you for taking that leap, because so many people are scared to take that leap, definitely. put all that backing on themselves to say, hey, I want to go do this for me instead of little Joe Schmo and their company and whatnot.
And I feel like a lot of people just hang on to the fear of like, what if it doesn't work, or what if this and honestly, it's gonna happen. Like you're gonna quit because you're stopping your reliable source to be like, yo, like I gotta go get it now. Like it's not a steady income because there's times like I'll be working like crazy and then boom, like 2 weeks I'm like, dang, no gigs. Like it's editing time. I mean, I'm still working, but it's like that income is like, yo, you know what I mean?
Going? Yeah, that's true. You gotta be smart with everything that's going on.
Yeah, definitely.
So aside from the comfortability that you get from a 9 to 5, what other sacrifices have you made to get to where you're at in your career?
I'd probably say like my biggest sacrifice is sacrificing a lot of time, bro. Like, because like doing this, bro, I had to be real dedicated, or even just anybody that's probably like, in this film world or music industry in general, like you have to be really dedicated in order to make it to a certain level because I was just having this conversation earlier. There is no 9 to 5 schedule in this industry at all. It's like, it's 24/7, especially in the music industry. Like, you go to a concert, you know what I mean? Like, the audience shows up at 7, from 7 to 11, whenever, you know what I mean? And the concert's over, they go home. But there's other people like us, you know what I mean? For instance, Saturday I had the Still Tipping tour with Mike Jones, Paul, all of them, right?
Yeah.
I showed up to the venue at 5. I didn't leave the venue till almost, I think it was like 1.
Damn, so that's a shift.
Exactly.
A shift right there,
but you know what I mean? So it's like, it's stuff that people don't take into consideration also, you know what I mean? Because it's like, you got to get there, you got to prep. You know what I mean? Make sure everything's on schedule, see what's up. I mean, from a film perspective, you kind of got to see like how everything's going to come out, and even then, sometimes things don't come out of the plan, but it's better to be somewhat prepared than to not be prepared at all.
Yeah, that's what they say. You got to prepare for the unexpected.
Yeah, exactly.
No, most definitely. Man, but I was like, I want to go back to just looking at the work that you produce, man. So I know you said you started developing an eye when you partnered up with Prophecy,
right?
But do you feel like you had any of that influence in, like, okay, for example, I can't watch movies the same anymore after I went to this one college class where we were doing a video analysis, where we're just breaking down the movie and all that.
Definitely.
Did you ever have a point in your life where you're just dissecting every music video you're watching?
I mean, I think it started since, like I said, I've always had a thing for music, so I think it's always been like kind of implemented in my brain. I just never started thinking about it until I started doing it. You know what I mean? Like you said, like you can't watch a movie until you went to that class. But you've probably already been intrigued by it your whole life. You know what I mean? Like it's just things that we're programmed to and we don't realize until we're actually like learning about it or putting our attention to it.
Yeah, because most of the time for me when I'm watching movies, it's like, oh, I see the product placement, I see where they have the lighting. And just all the technical things that happen within the scene itself, my mind's already picking up on that. Oh, they're doing this for a plot. Done it before.
Right,
and for me, it ruins the whole movie. It's like, it's hard for me to enjoy a movie because it's like, okay, I already know what's going to happen. Because it's so obvious because you see the storyline in it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can say I watch movies the same way now.
Yeah,
that actually makes sense. I've seen this guy. He said, "Hey, look in the room for anything red," and now you start looking in the room for red. He goes, "But if I told you to look for brown, you would notice the details of what you're looking for. So when you know what you're looking for inside those videos and stuff, you start catching on. Oh, that's how they did it. That's what they're trying to do. Instead of just watching it for face value and stuff like that."
Exactly.
So I want to touch on what is one of the craziest experiences if you've had recording on set for somebody's video.
Oh man, there's so many stories, bro.
Let's touch on one or two.
I'd probably say like the craziest one. I still remember this. It was like a little run and gun video for this artist. It was in the hood too. And back then, like people used to put like what I mean, like the guns in their videos and stuff like that. So I still remember with this artist. He had his homies with him. We're filming in the middle of the street, right? And then out of nowhere, he's like, let's just walk down the street with all the guns. You know what I mean? It's a neighborhood, right? It's this neighborhood. The neighbors are out on top of that, right? He's like, let's just do it. It look cool. And I was like, all right, bro. Like, I trust you. I mean, let's do it. I was just trying to get it over with.
Yeah.
And so we're filming on the street. We're not thinking nothing about it. We're like, whatever. They know we're filming a music video. Like, no neighbors ever said, they didn't say nothing to us. You know what I mean? Then boom, we're done with that scene. We move inside the house, right? We're filming inside the house, and the artist gets a call, from one of the homies that stayed outside. He's like, yo, do not come outside. Whatever y'all do not come outside. And we're like, why? He's like, look out the window. So we all run to the windows to look out. Dude, they had a whole SWAT team outside
Whoa.
because somebody called in the fact that there was like, you know, a bunch of people
guns,
walking around with guns. So like you see, like I still remember, I looked out the window. Dude, there's like 3 officers with huge rifles walking down the sidewalk, just looking around, and we're like, "Yo, what's going on?" So I still remember we stayed in that house for like maybe like an hour and a half until it cooled down, and we're like, "Yo, like everybody, like we're done." You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're done.
But man, it was just things like that. You know, you can't ever go wrong with stuff like that.
So, question: whatever happened with that artist? Like, have they elevated themselves to a different place from where they were at when you were shooting that music video? And how long ago was this?
Man, I would say this was probably like some of the first music videos I was filming. But the artists definitely they elevated themselves into something, you know, to something else. So it's always good, you know what I mean? They grow out of that shit.
Yeah,
Just keep it going.
Yeah. How often do you have to upgrade your equipment whenever you decide, okay, I'm getting these kind of clients, now it's time to get better equipment?
So actually, when it comes to that now, so now I have certain clients that come to me and they're like, yo, like I want like this, I want that. And instead of me upgrading, I'd actually rather pay somebody that owns that equipment. Like for example, like I have a client that comes to me, they're like, yo, like I want this whole production, like I want it shot on a red camera. And you know, if you know cameras, that's like a very high end camera.
Yeah.
You know, it's not cheap.
No, it's not at all.
It probably costs us a car. You know,
Yeah.
it's like somewhere from 20 to 50 grand for a camera. You know what I mean?
Bro.
I'd rather just hire out somebody that knows, you know, what they're doing. They own the camera. You know, that's their bread and butter. So I'd rather hire somebody like that because then they're really good at their job. I'm really good at my directing. And, you know, when it comes together, it's just like everybody has their own job and the video comes out like a million times better. You know what I mean?
So whenever you hire somebody with, like, let's say that equipment that they need that you don't have, it's like, all right, look, I got you this gig. I'm going to take a little bit off the top, but I'm also going to pay you for this.
Right. I mean, yeah, it all just comes out to the budget and stuff. You know, all that's included in the budget. It's like, you know, like when people come to me and they're like, I think, you know, sometimes they come to me with certain ideas and I'm like, well, we need this or we need that for it. And I know somebody who has that, so I just include them in the budget. You know what I mean? So kind of goes down to that, just budget breakdowns.
Yeah, but since we're talking about budgeting, do you have to pay for your travels? Because we've seen this one scene that you did in a castle. And do you pay for your own travel, or do they include that in their budget?
I mean, it depends. There's certain artists that are like, you know, like I'll take care of you. You know, just give me your traveling fee or whatever, and then you know I'll take care of your flight. You know, for that shoot, I was actually very fortunate. The artist took care of me. He paid for my flight because they actually drove. Like they drove. I think it was like a 14-hour drive. Damn. And he's like, I know you don't have that much time, but you know, I'm just gonna fly you because it was kind of like also like it was like a little last minute. But he was like, I'm just gonna fly you and we're gonna drive there and I'll just link up. You know what I mean?
So how was that? How much? I mean, how was the? I mean, my bad. Where was that castle at?
So. Honestly, bro, I know it's like 2 hours from Denver. I don't know the exact name of the city.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know the exact name of the city, but it's like about 2.5 hours from Denver. It's definitely a journey to get there because it was like a lot of like, you know, going through little towns and like middle of nowhere. Like I still remember there was points where we had the GPS on and like there was no signal. So like we make one wrong turn, bro. That GPS is not updating.
Yeah,
we're done.
And so what was that? What was that castle though? Was that somebody's actual like place to live, and they just rent it out, or?
So it's actually it's a tourist attraction, but it has a very interesting story. It's actually built. It's called Bishop Castle. It's built by one man. He's like, that's a crazy story. He was just very dedicated. You know, and there was a lot of things going against him, you know, up to the point where even the government tried to stop him, and he just kept going.
And then now he has that castle.
Yeah, and now that castle's there. Just, I mean, and supposedly it says because there's like a big writing on the wall, and it says he's still adding on to it. So I don't know how true that is. I know he's like a little older now, but yeah, he has like a contraption on the side of the castle. I don't think you can see in the video, but there's a contraption on the side of the castle where he was like pulling the rocks up, like to build the top level.
What the heck? Oh, this is like some old school building where they're not just getting it by trucks; they're like pulling.
Oh
it
yeah,
up.
he made everything, bro. Like he was like a one-man team. Like it's crazy, and then the inside of it is like I was amazed by it.
Oh. Hey, so I want to ask you real quick. How different is it from shooting like a music video? Like, let's say, I'll give you a good example. How different is it from shooting a music video with Louis and then going to shooting a skit for Louis? How different are those two things? Because I know they're similar,
Right.
but they're different. So how do you go about doing those?
So I mean, it's almost basically the same thing. That's the crazy thing. Like me and Louis work so well together. Like he'll tell me this idea, and I'm like, "Yo, that's dope," but I think we can also do this. And then it's like we just start bouncing ideas. You know what I mean? He does come up with a lot of the ideas, and he presents it to me, and I'm like, "Okay, that's dope. Let's add this, that," and you know, eventually we come out with what we come out. But you know, man, it's always like. I'd say probably the skits are crazy. When it comes to the music videos, we try to be a little bit more, I guess, planned out about it.
Methodical.
Just because it's a longer piece. You know what I mean? But when it comes to skits, even some of the skits are just like stuff like we'll be having a conversation like this, and we come up with crazy scenarios, and we're like, "That's a skit. Let's do it." So you know, I guess that's the difference. You know, a music video is always going to take a lot more planning, a lot more. You know, thinking into it too, just because it's a longer piece of content, you want to retain your audience and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shout out to Louis the singer, and that's a good segue into how is it working with Smooth Vega, XB Valentine, and I know they have their whole little group that they got going on right now. So how is it working with all of them and Smooth Vega and everybody?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, I love their energy. They're all very like dedicated, especially Smooth. You know, shout out my boy Smooth.
Yeah,
but,
Smooth.
You know, he's a very dedicated person. You know, I like his energy. He's always very like, you know, like hands on. Like he knows what he wants. He sees a vision. You know, and sometimes he'll come to me and he'll be like, "What do you think about this?" And I'm like, you know, I have to sit there and think because I'm like, how is he seeing this? You know what I mean? That's my thought process. Like, how is he seeing this? And I'm like, okay, that's gonna work. You know what I mean? Like I see, or he'll break it down to me, and I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? It's just I feel like he sees things a lot differently, like because he's been around so long. You know, he sees things a lot differently, and I'm like, yo, that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a little bit older than us. So has anybody ever came to you, or it could be artists too, but has anybody besides artists came to you and said, hey, I want you to like record on set for this movie or anything like that?
For a movie, I don't. Well, I have had people that want me to be part of their movie sets. It's just sometimes I just don't have, you know, like
You
with
don't
as
have the
busy
time.
as I am, sometimes I don't have the time to actually be like, okay, like I have the time to film a movie because a movie can take anywhere from 4 to 28 days. You know what I mean? Depending on how long it is or what they're aiming to do. But I have had people that come to me, you know, like edit this. I had somebody that wanted me to edit their whole movie, and I was like, dude, I can't.
That's a lot.
It's a lot because I used to shoot a short film series. It was like a short series with zombies. You know, zombies in the hood. It was a crazy idea, but it caught a lot of
Zombies in the
attention. You know what I
hood.
mean? And it was a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. Down from the filming and then taking it home and then editing it, because I was just doing it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
So it's definitely like a movie is just like a whole different thing. It's like now that I know that I took that experience, it's a lot, especially if you want it done right. You know what I mean? Like it's a process.
So do you want to just stick to doing music videos, or do you want to branch out into something else in the future? Like what kind of goals do you have?
So I think now, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I've always had a passion for music. I love doing music videos, but I also enjoy working. Now that I've started working with more brands and stuff like that, I think I like that route a lot more too. You know, helping brands, shooting content for brands, even shooting content for artists. It's like it's a different. You look at things differently. You know what I mean? Because a music video, it's like, okay, you got to feel the song, you got to portray this to the viewer. Whereas to like content and brand, it's like, yo, you're trying to send a message. You know what I mean?
So it's more of a psychological kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
No, I mean, definitely, because I've seen some articles where they talk about, oh, this color makes you feel this way, this color makes you feel that way.
Yeah, and even then, like coming from music videos, like you still have those things implemented in you. Like, yo, like if it's a sad song, we're gonna use blues and purples and certain colors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just how our mind works.
Yeah, so how long does it take you to shoot an actual music video? Do you have to shoot on multiple days, or is it just...
Honestly, that always depends on like the artist, their availability, and just like the schedule. You know what I mean? Scheduling or like certain locations or things like that. But I think the longest music video set I've ever been on is like 16 hours.
Yeah.
16 hours.
16 hours.
A bunch of retakes and whatnot?
Mainly, retakes, but it's also, you know, when you're working with like a production crew, you have to wait for the lights to be set up, waiting for the artist to get, you know, hair, makeup, whatever done, you know what I mean, extras.
I didn't even think about all that stuff. I didn't even think about that.
It's a lot. So like, and even no matter how hard you try to keep everything on schedule, it always happens. Like you have something that's gonna fall out.
Traffic, for example. I think I seen this one video where you did with a bunch of 18-wheelers.
Oh
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I'm like, man, it must have been hard to get all the 18-wheelers in the actual set.
That's another crazy story. You're talking about back to the crazy stories. So, we're filming this. It's content for an event called Bandas y Trocas, right there, like the biggest truck event here in Texas. So, I've always seen this field right there in downtown Dallas. Yeah. I didn't think nothing of it. I saw somebody shoot with some cars there. I was like, yo, like, they told me they were just bringing trucks, right? That was the original plan. I get to the set, I'm like, okay, we should be good to film trucks. I don't think anybody's going to bother us there. And I get to set and I'm like, are those cool 18-wheelers with y'all? They're like, yeah, we're going to use them for the video. I was like, where are we going to put them?
Where do we put these big old 18-wheelers?
And so they're like, well, we can put them on the field, right? I said, I think if we can get them up there, I was like, because they're sitting kind of low, they're all bagged and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, let's try it, like it doesn't hurt to try. I don't know if we'll get in trouble for it, but in my mind, I'm like, we're gonna get in trouble for it, but I can't let them know that.
Yeah. Let's just so
we're filming, right? And I'm trying to hurry. I'm like, yo, like let's run it. Let's just like run it back to back to back, because like there would be like a lot of shares that pass through that area, and I know they were gonna trip out when they saw the 18-wheelers. So I was like, let's just keep rolling, and we're sitting there rolling back to back. Like I think I did the 5 takes in like less than 20 minutes. Yeah. Just like I was like, yo, let's keep it going. And as we're doing the last take, this officer DPD passes by, and they got on the intercom. They're like, I need y'all to get off the grass. And we're sitting here, we're like, this is like halfway through the take. I hear them in the back. I heard them over the music. I turn around and I just see one cop roll up, right? By the time I'm like, okay, like maybe 2 more minutes pass by. Dude, those 18-wheelers move. There's like a line of laws.
Damn.
And then like the people with the rifles show up too. I'm like, bro, what is going on? Like,
it's like every video shoot you got, cops are pulling up, no matter what it is.
And normally, like I said, they don't trip out. I think it was just the fact that it was like, some big rigs just sitting on their grass. I was like, I think that did it.
So how'd you guys get out of that situation? Yeah, just been like, oh, we're just shooting the music video.
Luckily, we were done, and we're like, all right, we're leaving, and they didn't bother us. They're just like, all right, like as long as like they looked at the 18-wheelers and they're like, yo, like what's going on over there? But yeah, so
I'm almost positive that they took pictures of the 18-wheelers to show their kids, like, dang, look what I saw today, bragging about it.
There's been officers that do that. You just see the set sometimes, like we set up, like, because most of the time, we're doing running guns and stuff like that, and we'll try to come up with different ideas, bring different props or cars. I still remember one time I had like a Lambo at a shoot, and I thought the cop was gonna stop us because we're shooting in the middle of the street. Man, this dude gets out. And he's like, look, can I take a picture with the car? I was like, yeah. I was like, sure. I was like, as long as you don't bother us, it's cool.
A picture, you leave us alone.
Yeah. I'm dead. You're like, hey, we need you for another scene. You got time? Checks his call log. Yeah, I don't have any calls right now. All right. Now here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna flash lights. You're gonna go 5 miles behind us, and we're just gonna keep driving 5 miles an hour.
I mean, sometimes they're cool like that though. Like, I've had instances sometimes, you know what I mean, where I'm like, man, like we need to it would be dope if a cop just shows up out of the blue, and it's almost like you manifested and they show up and they happen to be cool. They're like,
that's what you do.
Yeah, I'll just park my car back there. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, leave.
It's exactly what we needed.
I'm dead. Turn off the dash cams. The artist gets on the hood and starts dancing, flexing his money.
Nah, that'd be crazy.
Hey, so was there an artist that you always wanted to work with and you ended up working with them, or has it not happened yet, or you're still working your way up to that?
Actually, I mean, I think it has happened. I worked with this Mexican artist called Abraham Vasquez. He was a big songwriter. Mm-hmm. He has a few big songs. And one day I still remember I was editing. It was like late night. It was like 1-2 a.m. I'm just sitting there editing. My phone normally doesn't go off at that late at night. And I look over and there's like somebody just keeps DMing me. I'm like, who is this? And I look and I'm like, there's no way this is him. I open the message and I'm like, what? That's crazy. And, I exchanged information with him. And at first I thought, I was like, well, maybe he's just like curious. He wanted to work with me and that's it. Because I gave him my number and I didn't hear from him until like 2-3 weeks after.
Yeah.
One day he just calls me out the blue. He's like, bro, I need you to come to Mexico to shoot this video for me. I'm like, damn. What?
How quick was that though? Like as soon as he called you were like, I got to take off tomorrow?
Nah, I think we waited like a few days.
Oh, okay.
But it was definitely like, yo,
quick.
Let's do this. And he's like, I need locations. I need all this and that. So I'm like putting my mind to work. I'm like, who do I know that shoots videos?
Mexico? That's crazy.
Right,
Where in Mexico did you have to go?
We would mainly shoot a lot of stuff like in TJ in Tijuana. Yeah, it's definitely a sketchy place.
Yeah, I bet. I don't know anything in Mexico, so I would assume so. So who are let's say I'm gonna give you three. Who are three artists you want to work with eventually? Your goals.
Eventually, man, that's an interesting question. I would probably say I definitely want to work with like now that I'm more like in the country realm and stuff like that with Louis. Definitely like Jelly Rolls, like
Oh yeah.
top one. You know what I mean? Like I like his story, and he seems like a cool person too.
Yeah.
Probably second. Um, Man, that's an interesting because I feel like I did something with Moneybagg Yo already. That's like one
No,
of
Yeah, he's like check.
yeah,
a big one,
definitely
Moneybagg
Moneybagg Yo. He was like one of my favorites artists. Like when I was still to this day he still drops some hot shit. So, but I already worked with him, so it's like
Yeah.
that one's like off the list
checklist.
already.
Yeah, that's off. You already did that one.
And OCAP as well. I worked with
Yeah.
him too. It was a feature, but he I got to work with him. I got to experience what it's like to work with him and stuff like that. And he's cool people. You know what I mean?
All right, from someone in the music scene. So me and David and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago. We're like, who's really putting Dallas on? In your eyes, who's putting Dallas on?
Man,
I know.
You're gonna get me banned from Dallas with this question, bro.
Let's go Texas first, and then let's go who's putting Dallas.
I mean, obviously,
on.
OT's putting on Texas.
Right. No, facts. Yeah.
Yeah.
OT is definitely putting on for Texas.
And I would say D Baby too.
Yeah, D Baby definitely. He just gotta stay consistent, but I think he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Also, Four Bats. I don't know if y'all heard of Four
Four
Bats.
I heard of
from
Four. He just got signed to OVO, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did.
He just got signed to OVO.
Yeah, I think I just saw that.
He's
yeah.
from Texas or Houston?
He's from Oak Cliff.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he's from Oak Cliff. Don't quote me on that. I think he's from Oak Cliff. But I know he's from DFW area.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, he's from around here. So
That's crazy.
I think it's pretty sick.
Hey, so how was it working with the Mexican OT?
It's pretty cool, man.
Laid
He
back,
came
chill.
with good energy, to the set, and even he was like, he kind of told me like how he likes to work or how he likes to move and stuff. So I was like, all right, kind of took that into consideration and just it helped me shoot his scenes a little better, But he's cool people, Good energy.
Hey, you shot for Peso?
No.
Oh, you
Not
haven't
that
yet?
one,
Oh, okay. Have you saw it for Sauce Walker?
Nope, not that
Not
one.
yet. You're still working your way up to those.
I don't know. Honestly, I think because their videos are a lot of like run and gun stuff, and I think nowadays like I'm trying to move out of that realm. I like more like the production, like more planned stuff. You know what I mean? Just it kind of like challenges me a little bit.
Yeah,
you
more
know what I mean?
methodicalness into your videos.
Right. Just and like I said, like I like the outcome. Like I like I like when my stuff looks real cinematic and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean. I try to think about my shots. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes running guns are dope, but I like my real sauce is like when I get to be like, okay, I want my shot like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, moving into what you're really good at or what you really want to do, I think is a really good move because then you're going to enjoy doing it even more. So that's what I was going to ask. Where do you see yourself 5 years from right now? So it's 2024, so 5 years is 2029. Where do you see yourself at that point?
Hold on, my bad.
you're good,
Can you repeat the question? My bad.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years by like 2029?
Man, honestly, bro, I've always thought about that. Like I said, I mean, I'm aiming to work with more brands and stuff like that. I like working with brands, so I think I see myself more working out of music videos and more into more brand stuff, commercials, maybe even having an agency. You know what I mean? Where I can have my own set of videographers, just a team that I can send out and be like, yo, we're working with them today, and I got somebody over here working with them. You know what I mean?
That's
Just
cool.
something like that way. You know what I mean? Like to where I'm more focused on just more like communication and telling people like how I want things done.
Yeah.
And then just either them sending me the footage and I like kind of put it together. So that's kind of like my goal right there, that and probably like moving also into the studios and stuff like that, like building sets. Just how Prophecy did, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I told you, like he's like a big inspiration of mine. Still to this day, like my boy stays grinding, you know what I mean? And he tells me every time, he's like, when we're gonna build your studio, I'm like, man, it's coming, you know what I mean?
It's funny we were talking about that same idea of the building a studio and everything like that too.
Yeah,
That's
because
cool.
now, like especially here in Dallas and DFW area, we don't have too many sets or studios that are done right. You go to LA, there's like a million things. You're like, you got everything, any type of scenery now out there. You know what I mean? But here it was like we're so limited, and sometimes as creators, we're like, yo, like it'd be dope if we had something like this. And you try to go film, like for example, you try to go film at that underground station in Dallas, and they'll kick you out real quick. So, you know, just things like that. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I can agree with that because a couple of years ago when I was doing photography, I was like, man, I need to look for a place to do this, and that. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh man, I don't even know where to. So I'm just looking up cool locations to look up. And everybody's been using the same 5 places, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
A mural somewhere, the fabrication yard.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I'm just like, man, every time I see a video, I'm like, oh, they're at the fabrication yard. And I get what you're saying about there just being limited space here in Dallas.
Yeah, I feel like that has a lot to do with it. You know, that's why, you know, like even now, like I'll have artists and they come to me and they're like, yo, I want to use a location that nobody's used. I'm like, well, get that plane ticket ready because we're about to go somewhere where nobody else is gone.
It's funny too because whenever I would ask him, hey, KB, you got any places we can go record these pictures or this or that? He's like, I got a couple places, this, and that. And then it's probably been used by somebody else before too. But at that time, it's not that big of a deal. But I get what you're saying on that.
Especially at that point, like when we were doing all the stuff for your brand, I still remember like there was only like a handful of studios.
Yeah,
you know
there wasn't
like,
that many studios out there.
And now it's grown a little bit, but it's still like to the point. I guess there's just so much content being made in the city that it's like becomes limited. In a way, you know what I mean?
No, I was watching this one movie on Tubi where one of the it looks like it's based out of Dallas, man. I think what's his name, Brandon
Metlock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess he's based out of Dallas and their whole production set. Right. And I'm watching their movies, and the one thing I can appreciate about their movies on Tubi is that, you know, for example, Tyler Perry movies, you see the Atlanta skyline all the time because they're based out of Atlanta. But whenever I see the Dallas skyline, like in a movie, I'm like, that's my city.
Yeah, you feel proud.
Proud.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think there's also what is that movie? Triple D Revenge. That was on.
What?
That's on
Tubi?
I think that's on Tubi. Yeah.
I gotta see that one. I haven't seen that.
It's actually pretty dope.
Triple D Revenge.
Yeah, Mo3 was in it. Yeah.
For real.
Yeah,
Triple D Revenge sounds like an action movie.
Oh, it is. It's dope.
Triple D Revenge.
I like the story. It's pretty dope.
That sounds lit. So I wanted to ask you because I'm pretty sure if I'm correct, you don't have any kids, correct?
No.
Okay, so have you ever thought about having kids? And if you did want to have kids, have you thought about how it would change your life now?
Honestly, yeah, I've thought about it. I think I'm at that age now where I have to think about it, right? I'm like, yo, it's gonna. But definitely, I think. I mean, it's like that ethic for me is already there. Like I already think like that. Like, yo, if this were to happen tomorrow, like, like my girl tells me, yo, I'm pregnant. I'm like, yo, like, don't worry about it, you know. Yeah. So I think I'm already there. You know what I mean? People say, you know, that there's never a right time. Of course, there's never a right time. But you know, like if it were to happen, I feel like I'd be like, you know, I'm on it already.
Switch.
Like, yeah,
just
it's
like
there.
that.
Yeah, it's already there because I already think like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you're saying he's saying he wants you to make him a father already. Make it happen. That's funny. No, I'm just playing. Don't do that. No, just take your time. Take your time. Whatever the time comes, when the time is right. That's funny. So if you had when you wanted to have kids, did you ever think about if you want to have a boy or girl, or you kind of just like whatever comes?
Man, I'm just like whatever comes. You know what I mean? Like
I don't know what it is, but you seem like you'd be a girl dad.
No, I might. You know what I mean?
I can see it.
No, most definitely. I mean, I have a 6-year-old and he has a
boy. Yeah, so he's 4. So yeah, I'm a boy dad, girl dad. I can see you being a girl dad. I can see it happening.
Y'all know it. y'all know better than me. So.
I mean, hey, I don't know, man. It's probably the vibe you put out, you know.
Girl dad vibes.
I mean, what is that? What is that?
I don't know, man. Maybe I don't even know what it is, bro. You're just on another level of just you'd be a girl dad. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd probably be. I mean, okay. Looking back into me as a girl dad, I feel like I'm more lovable towards my daughter. When I look at little boys running around and just I'm like, bro, if that was my son, I'd whoop his ass.
I think it'd be real cute if you're over here like teaching your daughter all the stuff with the camera and stuff like that. Somebody else is getting the behind the scenes of you teaching her. That looks dope, bro. Yeah. That's why I feel like you'd be a perfect girl dad.
I'll bounce back to this clip when I have a little girl, bro.
Or you're gonna bounce back to it and be like, they were wrong.
That's funny. Oh my goodness.
No, do you want to get out of Dallas, or do you like staying here and representing?
I mean, I can't lie, man. I love the city. I guess it's just because I kind of came up here too, you know. But you know, like there's so many. It's just there's so many cities, bro. Yeah. Like I've been lucky enough. I've been blessed enough to kind of travel to do what I do. Also, you know what I mean. So I've gotten to experience that stuff. But man, there's nothing like home, honestly.
Yeah, going down to the corner store where you've been going for the last 10 years.
Exactly.
Hey, so whenever you go to places, do people recognize you?
Honestly, this is weird, but yeah. Sometimes I still remember recently I was in Vegas and I was doing some stuff for some for some sports stuff. And this guy that was working, he's like, I forgot what he's doing. He's like doing some content with his phone or something. For one of the players, and he's like, "You're KV." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, but it's like it's weird because I'm not used to that recognition, you know. But now ever since I started working with Louis, you know, like he'll put me in a lot of like his behind the scenes or like in his stories or something like that, and people start recognizing me or like they'll follow me.
Yeah.
And it's like something like I'm not used to it. You know what I mean? Like I see people follow me, and I'm like, cool. You know what I mean? But like when they point me out in public, they'll be like, now it'll be like sometimes people pull me to the side, be like, "Can I have a picture?" I'm like, "What are you like? I'm not a celebrity."
Yo, I'm just KD, man.
Yeah, I'm just me. I've just never been that guy, you know. Like I've never been the type of guy that like likes attention like that. So it's like it's definitely a little different sometimes when people be like, "Yo, like you," or they'll be like, "You're Louis' camera guy." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
That's me, camera guy.
And even that, like sometimes at the shows, he'll pull me on stage. He's like, "Yeah, this is my video guy," and I'm just like sitting there in a crowd of people. I'm like, "What am I doing?" Just standing here.
You're like, "Oh, I'm not supposed to be out there, yo."
Yeah.
They're clapping for you just as if they were clapping for
he'll
Louis.
make them clap, and I'm just like slowly. I start slowly, like he'll pull me in. I'm like slowly trying to go away back to my.
He's on the left side trying to pull the curtain over.
Hey, so how did you get in contact with working with Little Gronk? Is it Little Gronk or Mini Gronk?
Baby Gronk?
Yeah, Baby Gronk.
Wait, Baby Gronk?
Yeah, Baby.
Nah, the little dude.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Man, crazy story. I actually watched it. I watch that kid grow up, bro.
For real?
Like from where he was a baby. Yeah.
So like so you're like, I'm not gonna say you're related, but you know that's somebody else's friend.
I know his dad. I've known his dad for a long time, bro. Probably since I started filming.
So he's from Dallas, or where's he from?
Yeah, they're in the DFW area.
Oh shit! He's like can't disclose where, but yeah.
I thought they were in like Miami or something.
Nah, they just it's how they move, bro. They're everywhere.
That's how they move. Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
Oh, shout out Baby
That's
Gronk.
crazy. Baby Gronk. Hey, so is he like? So he's low key, but high key trying to like make it to the league though, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've watched this kid play, bro. He's got talent for a kid his age. Like he'll be out there, you know. And I watch these kids play. You know what I mean? I don't have kids, but I watch when I go to his games, and I'm like, yo, like he's just doing everybody nasty on the field. Like, yo,
hey, how old is he?
Man, I don't want to say his age, but I think he's like 10 or 11, somewhere around
he's
there.
He's got to be right around there. He can't be that young.
No, he's not that young, but like I said, I've watched this kid basically grow up since he was like, you know, I think he was like 3 or 4 when I first met him. Yeah.
So do they always like refer to you whenever they need to like get some content shot in Dallas or like?
I mean in general, you know, I try to help his dad with content ideas sometimes, or how to do certain things, or he'll give me like, you know, his ideas on stuff on what they're trying to do. And, you know, we just bounce ideas back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do a lot of their content. Now I got, you know, my little brother started doing like his video photography stuff too. And he's always been into sports. So like I kind of clicked them together just since now, like I'm kind of limited on my time sometimes now. Like I can't travel like for a certain amount of days, or I just have too much going on here. Yeah. So it got kind of hard to keep up with them, and I'm like, yo, like you still got to keep pushing content. So like, you know, take my little brother. He's still young, and he's, you know, trying to get in the game, but you know, he's got the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it's important too, because like he gets to build his own network with people, you know, with athletes and, you know, all the people that they're meeting, because the people that are meeting, they got some clout too. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just like an experience. You know, I'm just trying to give them kind of what I didn't have. Then, you know? I had to put in all the footwork.
And you had to, like you said, trial and error. Now you can say, hey, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that one. Do it this one. He's like, oh, you know, I'm gonna listen.
Yeah,
or whatever the case is.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good one.
What you call it? I want to end this with maybe one more question coming from me. You know, our primary focus on this podcast is to bring people on and actually get to know about their careers and their in and outs and how they got to where they're at. Mm-hmm. But from our perspective, what do you think we need to do to bring other talent onto the show?
Man.
Advice.
Yeah.
I'd probably say, I mean, bro, nowadays it's like just about keeping it in people's faces, you know, like your content, like, you know, you just gotta flood the internet with content, bro. It's like,
that's what I was telling,
bro. That's all it is nowadays. Like I'm learning, you know, I'm still learning this game too. This internet, this new age internet game. It's like Now it's different. Now you have to be aggressive. You have to, throw that punch in because people. Literally, people will sit there. They'll watch your stuff for 2 seconds. They won't even give you a chance, and it's like, nope, no. So it's like as soon as you come out of the gate, you gotta it has to be like, yo. It's almost like you gotta yell at them, stop. You know what I mean? Like, just watch this for a second. And even then, it's just. I'd say probably it's just letting it the right way, putting out the right content, reaching out to the right people as well. Because that always has a lot to do with it too. It's like you get somebody. Big enough in here, bro, that's all it takes. That's why I tell people all the time, all it takes is one. You know what I mean? And that's all it is. It just takes one. And it's the right one, bro, that's it. You know what I mean? Your shit's gonna pop.
And for that one for you was Prophecy, right?
About what?
No, I'm saying Prophecy, that one person that it took you to get to where you're at now was because of Prophecy, right?
Yeah, I'd probably say he helped me, you know what I mean? But it also comes, from within, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he helped me take that step, but then he kind of like, he's like, yo, like, this is what you should do. And I kind of had to make that decision. Like, do I want to do that? And I did. And I took it to another level also. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like he just gave me the game. And he's like, if you want to do it, you're going to do it. Boom. You know what I mean? You take it. So it always bounces back to yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's whether you want to do it or not. No matter who you try to help. And sometimes I try to help people too. And they don't take my advice. You know what I mean? I don't blame them sometimes. You know what I mean? It all depends on you. You are your own person.
Yeah, true. So I was gonna ask you before this was probably my last question. Who has, or I'm pretty sure this is it, but who has been your biggest influence into getting started and moving everything forward? Has it been Prophecy?
As of right now, like recently?
No, just in general. Your whole thing is your biggest influence. It could be your family. It could be Prophecy. I don't know.
Man. That's an interesting question. I don't think I've ever thought of that.
Biggest influence for you.
Man, I think like my biggest influence is also, not to sound selfish, but it kind of is me also because I see myself being somebody bigger, taking on bigger projects, just doing things a little different. You know what I mean? I feel like it just starts there. Like, you have to be your own biggest influence because you got to believe in yourself at the end of the day. You know what I mean? That's just how I see it.
You got to be your biggest supporter. Exactly. So I don't think that's selfish at all, but you really have to think, hey, I'm bigger and better than this.
Right. You have to believe it. Otherwise, if you don't portray that energy yourself, people read that. Crazy how this world works and energies work, but like people see through you. You know what I mean? That's a real saying. Like if you don't believe in yourself, people are going to see that. And it's gonna reflect to everybody. Yeah,
true. So this is my last question. All right, I had a thought of it. All right, so what has been your proudest moment up to now that you've had in your career? Proudest moment.
Proudest moment, man. That's crazy because there's been like a lot of moments. Honestly, exactly. Man. Oh. Yeah, give me a second to think about that.
Yeah, give me a second. Hey, we can put a timer on.
Jeopardy song. Man, there's just so many. There's so many recently too. Just because like I said, working with Louis has like opened a lot of gates. You know what I mean?
I love you working with Louis too. By the way, shout out to Louis again.
Man, shout out, man. But it's just opened a lot. You know what I mean? Like doing his cover, and then it got picked up by Dallas Observer. That's like the city, man. That's a city newspaper. Like. They're up there with like Dallas Morning News and shit. So like that's probably it. Because I would walk. I remember when that came out. I walked down the sidewalk and I saw it on their little stands or whatever. I was like, man, yo, I took that picture.
That's me. That's me right
there. So that, man, and just like I said, seeing the publications, that because I did like a lot of his headshots and stuff. I don't really do photography, but like that time he's like, yo, I need some headshots real bad. Smooth reached out to me. He's like, we need some headshots, and I was like, I really don't do photography, but I guess I'll give it a shot. And it just turned out, you know what I mean? Like you see his face everywhere, and I'm like, yo, I took that picture. That's kind of dope, But even then, like I've also had like publications and magazines like with Baby Gronk, referring back to Baby Gronk. I still remember one time they're like, yo, like we have this brand that sent us like a care package and they need a shoot. Well, I didn't know that shoot was gonna go onto a magazine. I forgot what magazine it was. It's a pretty big like sports magazine where they sell like shoes and stuff like that. But like my pictures were in the magazine too, and I was like, yo, this is like a nationwide magazine. This isn't just like something local.
I would be posting that everywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
I took these.
There's been like a lot of stuff, bro, honestly.
So do you take gratification in seeing your work out in public and just being like, okay, yeah, I did that? Or is it more of a, okay, let me reword this a different way. let's say, for example, and I was talking about this to myself a couple of days ago. Everybody always sees what's on camera, but they don't really know what it takes to get to set behind the scenes. So when you see your final work, are you more satisfied with taking in that gratitude from what you've seen, or people telling you, "Hey, man, you did a really good job on that"?
I think it's a little of both. You know what I mean? Because in a way, you know, when you're doing that shoot, like I said, for instance, like I didn't know none of these things were gonna be as big as they were, right? So like when I'm doing the work, I'm like sitting there trying my best to make it look good, and you know, working with deadlines too, because a lot of the stuff that I do, like it has quick turnarounds, and that goes back to the time thing, because it'll be like I get hired for a project, and they're like, "Yo, we need this like in 2 days," and I'm like, yo, in order for me to make these look good, I need at least a week. So you fit in a week in like less than 48 hours. You're like, you know, you're working your ass off to do it. And I think at the end, it's like, okay, I did the best I could, and here it is. And it looks good, you know, it ends up looking good. But then sometimes you see it up there and you're like, people are like, yo, like you did mad work to this. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, it did. You know,
see, it's funny because when you did those pictures for Louis, I literally thought you were shooting that for him to make it onto for it to be on his album cover and everything like that. Right. I thought that's what it's for, but that's the perception from not knowing all the behind the scenes stuff that you're like, hey, we're just shooting this and it may or may not even be on there, but we need to get some headshots in there for him and etc. Not knowing. So for me, I'm just like, oh, he's supposed to be doing this and it's gonna go up there, and you're like, I don't even know if it's gonna make it.
Yeah, see, exactly. And it's crazy because sometimes it's the shot that you don't think, you're like, oh, that shot's not that good, or it's kind of mid, you know what I mean? And then they take it and they're like, yo, this is our best one. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's like 30 other fire ones in there.
Hey, see, you're bringing so many things to light, the things that we've
already talked about this.
Yeah, all these kinds of things.
Because we have, maybe about good 4 or 5 episodes that we've recorded that they're like, oh, we're not going to post. Yeah. Nah, I don't like how that looked. But they're really good ones. There's like 2 of them that are really, really good. Yeah. I had a lot of back and forth, and I'm like, man, people want to see that.
Right.
And then it's like, no, let's not post it because I don't want to look bad.
See, I used to think the same way with certain projects or certain work that I did. You know, I'll be like, no, I don't think that's good enough to post. And then, you know, I kind of got into this stage recently where I'm like, you know, I don't care. Like, I'm just want to post it because nowadays you never know. Like, what you don't like could be like somebody's favorite thing, or you know what I mean? Like it goes back to that. It just takes one, and it could be the one that you don't like or that you feel isn't right. You know, it's like you put it out there and boom, there's your shot. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, because with me, when it comes to uploading all of our shorts, you know, I'm uploading on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Bro, I didn't even use TikTok until we started doing all of this. But I'm literally just flooding all of that with shorts throughout the week. I'm like, here, boom. And, you know, and then David and, you know, Jose, they're more of a like, oh, we should just pick the best ones. I mean, but best is subjective.
Right. Yeah. Nowadays, it's just like, because you don't know what's best. Like, you have to read your audience as well, you know? And then, you know, like, I know y'all are starting out, but like, whenever it starts getting more and more, it's like you start drawing more of an audience. You kind of just start breaking that down. You know what I mean? Like, yo, like, okay, I see this audience likes this, or this topic does better. And it's just like that in general. Like, the internet has its sections, you know what I mean? Like, there's clicks in a way.
Which is good and bad, and the good part is just try to gravitate to every single click there is.
I mean, hey, even if it's, you know, you got your trolls out there, it doesn't matter. Like,
that's fine, you know, too. Bring on the trolls. We need everything to blow up.
Facts.
But I guess that's gonna be it for this episode of Direct Discussions. I want to thank you so much, KV, for coming on. It's a big help, big thank you. Bro, we've been working together now for almost a decade. Next year in 2025 would make it a decade. We've been working together, and it's been a good relationship ever since high school. Really, I think we even went to the same middle school.
Yeah, we did, bro. We've been rocking since.
What elementary you go to?
It was like a Dallas elementary school, but I didn't go to middle school.
I was gonna say, then we went to elementary school too.
Middle school for sure.
From middle school, high school, all the way up to now. So we've probably been knowing each other for almost 20 years, probably.
Long time, bro.
So I appreciate you so much for coming on. Thank you for taking your time.
Do you have anything else you want to say to our audience? If so, that way, please.
Man, y'all go follow them. Y'all tune into the content. Like, yo, these guys, they're good people. Y'all need to make sure you support them.
We're going to keep trying to come to you every single week. Thank you, KV, for coming on. We'll see you guys in the next episode of Direct Discussions. Peace.
Keep it saucy.
Keep it saucy.